Okay, we are now moving on to part 2 of lesson 2. So open up your workbooks to page 8. Part 1 was we did GCF. So we were doing applications of prime factors and GCF. And part 2 is going to be on lowest common multiple. So I'm going to do what I did similar to part 1. I'm going to show you how you would have done lowest common multiple in grade 9. And then I'll show you how do we actually do it in grade 10 when we have huge numbers. And we are going to be using prime factorization. So let's just say in grade 9, your teacher said, okay, can you please find the lowest common multiple, or we shorthanded LCM, of the numbers 6 and 8. So lowest common multiple, what you would be doing is you'd be writing all of the multiples of 6 and all of the multiples of 8. So the multiples of 6, 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24. These are all of the multiples of 6. The multiples of 8 are written down here. 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24. You would then scan these numbers and you would circle, well, what is the lowest one that is common? Remember, it has to be common to both. And the multiple that's the lowest, that's common to both, is 48. So the lowest common multiple of 6 and 8 is 48. Okay? Now, we are not going to use this method in grade 10, and just because it would take you far, far too long, we're going to use the method of prime factorization. It's a little bit more complicated than GCF. I find that students always get GCF right, and it's about 2/3 understand lowest common multiple, and a third of my students sort of have a hard time with it. But I'll do lots of, hopefully, examples so you'll see this. Okay, let's do, for number 4, let's do, which number do I want to do? I want to do this guy with you. So let's find the lowest common multiple of 10, 12, and 14. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to use what's called our prime factorization. So we're going to do what we did in GCF, 10, 12, and 14, and you're going to break down these numbers by a product of the prime. So do the prime factorization. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Let's do 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And let's do 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So let's, exactly like we did with GCF, let's write each of these numbers as a product of the primes, right? So 10 is equal to 2 times 5. 12 is equal to 2 times 2 times 3. And 14 is equal to 2 times 7. Okay, so lowest common multiple. How do we do this? I'm going to get you to highlight something, or highlight and star something. And then again, it's not going to, I always find sometimes these definitions don't exactly make sense when we first read them through. This is just so that you have it highlighted in your notes for when you're studying, like let's say for your exam. Okay, so let's read what this says. To determine the lowest common multiple, take all of the prime factors of one of the numbers. Okay, so let's do that first. So you've got your 3 prime factorizations written, and I always want you to take, it says take all of the prime factors of one of the numbers. So I always tell my students to take all of the prime factors of the first number. So 2 times 5. Okay, so you always, whatever that first number is, you're going to take the prime factors of that number. And then it says, and multiply by any additional factors in the other numbers. So what we have to do is, because I took a 2 from here, I need to now cancel, because I took 1, 2 from here, I need to cancel 1, 2 from here and 1, 2 from here. I get to cancel up to 1, 2 from each number below. So again, because I took a 2, I could cancel a 2 there, and I could cancel a 2 here. Then I go to this 5, right? I wrote that 5 down. I could now go to each of the numbers below, and I could cancel 1 5 from here and 1 5 from here. There's no 5s to cancel. So once you're done your canceling, you take your remaining factors from your next number. So my remaining factors are a 2 and a 3. Now, I first say to myself, okay, can I cancel from below it? Do I have a 2 that I could cancel out? Nope. Do I have a 3? No. So then what do is you take the remaining factor, and it's a 7. And the lowest common multiple is this answer. So you guys, it's going to seem really complicated at first, but we'll do so many examples that you'll get the hang of this. So the answer, the lowest common multiple of 10, 12, and 14 is these numbers multiplied together. And if you check on your calculator, you should get 420. So the lowest common multiple of 10, 12, and 14 is 420. Okay? Let's do class example 5, and then I'm actually going to give you another one to practice. Okay, so 15, well, we're going to start with a nice easy one. 15 uh, divided by 3 is 5, and 35 divided by 5 is 7. So write the prime factorizations of each of these numbers. So 15 is 3 times 5, and 35 is 5 times 7. Okay, the lowest common multiple. You take all of the factors of the first number, so a 3 and a 5, and then it says you take any additional factors. So additional factors means I get a cancel. So if I took 1 3 from here, I could cancel 1 3 from here. Do you guys see a 3 that I could cancel? No, so I just ignore it. I took a 5. I could cancel 1 5 below. So this 5 I could cancel. Now that I'm done my canceling, I take any additional factors remaining in 35, which is 7. So the lowest common multiple is 3 times 5 times 7, and that's 105. Okay, that is your answer. Let's do B. Now, you guys could do your factor tree if you want to. You could do your factor, like you could pause this and do your factor tree. I'm going to give you the prime factorization though, because I know you guys are good at the factor trees, right? We just need practice on figuring out lowest common multiple. So you guys can write the prime factorization of 126. It's 2 times 3 times 3 times 7. Okay? And 441, the prime factorization of that guy is 3 times 3 times 7 times 7. Okay, lowest common multiple. The rule is you take all of the factors of the first number. So 2 times 3 times 3 times 7. And then it says you take any additional factors. So you got to go down and cancel. You say, I took 1, 2 from here. That means I could cancel 1, 2 below it. There isn't a 2 to cancel though, right? So then go to the 3s and you say to yourself, how many 3s did you take out? You took out 2 3s. That means you could cancel up to 2 3s from this. So I could actually cancel both those 3s. Then go to the 7. How many 7s did you take out? You took out 1 7. So that means you could cancel up to 1 7 below it. That means that the only additional factor is that guy. I could take that out. My lowest common multiple is 2 times 3 times 3 times 7 times 7. So it sounds like a really big number, and it will be. The lowest common multiple of those two numbers is 882. Okay, let's do 3 numbers, because on your test, on your quiz, you're going to have 3 numbers. We're going to do the same thing as B. I'm going to give you the prime factorization because you guys know how to do that. And you're just going to see, can you figure out this lowest common multiple business? Okay, so prime factorization of 22 is 2 times 11. Prime factorization of 154 is 2 times 7 times 11. And prime factorization of 198 is 2 times 3 times 3 times 11. Okay, lowest common multiple. What was the rule for lowest common multiple? You take all of the prime factors of the first number. Then you go do your canceling. So you say to yourself, I took a 2 from the first group. I could cancel up to 1, 2 from every number below. So look here, is there a 2 to cancel? Yes, I could cancel 1, 2. Then I could cancel a 2 as well from here. From each group below, you could cancel a 2. Okay, then go to your 11. I took out an 11. That means you could cancel 1 11 if they have it from each group below. So this guy could be canceled and this guy could be canceled. Then you go to your next number and you take out, well, what's the remaining factor? And that's a 7. Now, what you need to check though, you took out 1 7. You would then need to look here and say, is there a 7 I could take out from here? I could cancel a 7. If there was, you would cancel it, 1 7. But there's not. So your remaining factors from this group are 3 times 3. And your answer is going to be 2 times 7, no, 2 times 11 times 7 times 3 times 3. So that answer is 1386. What I want you guys to do now, before I give you your homework, I want to do one more. Because like I said, LCM, if any students get tripped up on the quiz, it's going to be on LCM. So if you flip this, your workbook to the very beginning, you should have some blank pages at the very, very beginning of your workbook. So open up your workbook and there should be oh, I don't have it here, but there should be some blank pages. So I want you guys to find a blank page at the beginning of your workbook. And I want to do one other example. And if you get this example, you're going to get LCM. Okay, so I want you to write these 3 numbers here. Let me just get rid of this for a second. Let me just get rid of this answer for a second for you guys. Okay, so I want you to write down lowest common multiple of 132, 510, and 2860. I'm going to give you a number on your 3 numbers on your quiz, and it's going to be very similar. Like it's going to be big numbers like this. If you want, because on your quiz, you are going to have to break it down by the prime factorization, like make the factor trees. You guys can pause it and do that. I'm going to show you what the prime factorization is, because everybody's going to get this right. Okay, so the number is broken down. This is what you should get as an answer. Now, let's figure out the lowest common multiple of these 3 numbers. And I think it's going to be a huge, yeah, a ridiculously huge number. But let's see if you get this answer. Okay, because if you get this, if you guys understand this one, you will get any LCM question that I throw at you. You will get it right. Okay, what do we do for LCM? We take all of the prime factors of the first number. 2 times 2 times 3 times 11. Then you're going to take any additional factors from here. But before we could do the additional factors, we have to cancel. So go to your first number and say, I took 2 2s. What that means is that you go to this number and you could cancel up to 2 2s. There's only one though, right? I took 2 2s. There's only one. I get to cancel it. But look here, there's 2 here. I could cancel both of those. You could cancel up to 2 2s in each number below. Okay? Now, if let's say this guy had 3 2s, you could only cancel 2 of them, right? You could cancel up to 2 2s from here, 2 2s from here. Now let's do our 3. I go to each number below and I'm going to cancel out 1 3 from each number below. I get to cancel that guy. Can I cancel a 3 from here? No, there's no 3 to cancel. So then go to your 11 and say I could cancel now 1 11 from each number below. There's no 11 here. But this guy can go. Okay, so once you've done your canceling from all the numbers you took from your first prime factorization, you then take any additional factors from the next guy. So the additional factors that I have remaining after my cancellation are 5 and 17. Okay, now before I could take the additional factors from here, I got to cancel. So I say to myself, I took a 5 from here. Is there a 5 I could cancel down here? Yes, there's 1 5. I took a 17 from here. Is there a 17 to cancel from here? No. So I'm done my canceling. So now I take any additional prime factors, which is a 13. I've got all my prime factors listed. You multiply those guys together and you will get this answer here. Okay, so what I tell students to do, like if you want to get 100% on this quiz, you do this guy again. And if you could do this one, I guarantee you will get the quiz question. Okay, I'm going to give you your homework, and then that's going to be the end of part 2. So we're going to circle this homework, and then you're going to do that. Once you're done your homework, you're going to correct all your homework, and then you're going to go to part 3. So let's circle 5CD. Just going to write this down first. So 5CD, we're going to do 6AB, DF, and 7AB. These should all be our else lowest common multiple questions. So homework, I believe, starts on, what page does your homework start on? Okay, homework starts on page 11, but we've already done those 2 questions. Those were GCF. So let's circle 3 and 4 are GCF questions. Okay, so from number 5, I want you to do C and I want you to do D. And let's do prime factorization. So let's do rewrite each number as a product of the primes, right? 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. 9 is going to be 3 times 3. 15 is 3 times 5. So you'd say, okay, 9 is 3 times 3. 15 is 3 times 5. The LCM, you take all of the factors of your first number. Then before you take your additional factors, you cancel. You could cancel 2 3s below. There's only 1 3. So the only additional number is 5, right? So the LCM of 5C, I just did for you guys, is 45. 3 times 3 times 5 is 45. So you guys do D. What did I say for 6? 6 A, B, D, F. A, B, D, F. So you're doing prime factorization. And then for 7, you are doing A and B. Okay, and that's your all your questions for prime factorization, lowest common multiple. There will be a part 3 for this.